you wrote about exams or talks or speeches, and you go in, you're terrified because you don't know an answer, right? So you probably came in unconfident, but you probably studied though, right? And probably everybody else studied too. So you studied, you come in, something happens, it doesn't feel right, and so my story was I was in terror, and then I became very angry at myself because I was going to quit. So I stood up, I had the exam, I did the excuse me to everybody, to, it's this big lecture hall. And then I stopped, and I thought, come on, Mark, come on, So I did, excuse me, back. Luckily it wasn't a movie theater, stuff thrown at you, be booed, pushed out. I sat back down. I did this thing, I shook it out for a second, and bam. It was like I was a calculus expert. I still recall it was one of those problems, it's a window and how much area is in the window, and the window is like a different dimension. You have to use calculus to find the area. Something like that, or the oil spills on the floor and it spreads. Anybody remember that stuff? I don't, because after I left the class, I don't remember anything. It was all gone. It was magic. It was unreal. Rode my bike home in the snow. It was really, really snowing, and it was really, really cold. And I thought, that was, wow, wow. Intramural football game, it was so quick. That's the difference. That's one story. 1 to 2 is how quick it was. It was the quick, they kick off, fools that kicked off, right? They didn't have to kick off, 2 seconds left, they're up, whatever they're up 5. Touchdown 6, we didn't have to kick an extra point. So they're up 5, the kickoff, before the kickoff, right? You read the story, Chris gets in my face, and just full of confidence. I mean, just the greatest Ray Lewis-like speech to get me fired up. And you catch it, and gone. And right at the end, Dennis was yelling at me because somebody was pulling at my flag, right there at the end. I turn, I pitch it to him, kid pulls my flag, goes in the end zone, and we hug each other to death. It was amazing. As silly as that is, right? It was amazing. It was Wes Welker before Wes Welker at A&M. It was amazing. And so, but I don't have any memory of it. I couldn't tell you how I got there. So I can kind of say I don't really remember the calculus exam. I do remember things. I mean, it was in 1987, so it's a long time ago to remember the exact problems. But I went home and told my parents what the problems were and how proud I was that I solved them and all those type of things. But like the football one was so fast. I mean, I'm not the Bolt guy, but I'm not the slowest guy either, right? So it was, I don't know, 12 seconds, 11 seconds, and it was over, right? And so that event, it would be great to dissect of what actually led to that. And it was probably just somebody getting me fired up. And then the shot heard around Wales is so much fun. It's so emotional. It was such a great moment in my life. And it was, as we'll see with this antecedent stuff, it was a lot of stuff that everybody else probably did. But then that built into something different. So in that story, it's extreme confidence. I called the play. I went and performed the play. I can describe you exactly what happened like it was yesterday. I remember every bit of it. Every bit of it. And so if I could repeat that again, that's pretty fun. If I could repeat all 3 of them again, I don't know. I wouldn't be standing here. Right? I don't know what I would do. But I probably can. Why are we not doing that? Why are we not doing the worst times? Because they're no fun. That's why. Because we all have the same story. That's why. We were miserable. It was embarrassing. We probably had 0 confidence going into it, or we did, then it was shaken very quickly. Very quickly, something happened that shook our confidence, and then we went to the tanks, and we couldn't get out of the tanks, and we just hoped the thing would be over with. We must all have that. And so when we get to the arousal anxiety part, in brief, I gave a talk when I was a sophomore in high school, and I passed out standing up. That's very embarrassing. That's not fun. I was a gamer, so I grabbed the podium and I kept talking. I was crying and my voice had shattered, so I was this teary-eyed thing about Robert Frost, Two Roads to Abide. One went really dark, I tell you that. Right? One was flat, one went dark. I took the dark path. I hung on to the podium. I know it's wild, isn't it? Because this is what I do for a living. I talk for a living. I hung on to the podium. I kept going. And then my teacher said, Mrs. Lindsay goes, Mark, you sure you don't want to sit down? I go, no. And she goes, are you double sure? I said, well, okay. And I put my foot back, because there was a chair there. Grabbed a chair, I sat down, and the lights all came back on. Besides this example right now, I never want to talk about it again. I know exactly what happened. I had no confidence. I was so nervous. And the worst part of the whole thing was nobody knew who was going to have to go first, though you kind of knew it was me. And so Mrs. Lindsley started class by up first. Everybody came dressed like they had to give the talk in suit and tie. It was heavy corduroy, early 80s, heavy corduroy. And Mark Lockbaum's up first. Bam, sick to my stomach. Bam, don't feel good. Bam, this isn't going to go well. Don't ever want to talk about it again. Those were the days. So, what are yours, right? And so we have done that activity. And so when we get into this role, we will know that we have done these beforehand. And so when you look at yours, we're going to try to make the pattern out of it. Yes? Yes. Okay, so we'll take a break. Stop the thing. And I can't wait for the next part, so go to the bathroom, whatnot.